Yes. Yes, you. What was my desire from childhood was to be a TV presenter, but unfortunately I'm not. I wanted to be on TV so I can speak on TV and then do radio, but unfortunately plans changed and then I became a fashion designer. Yes. The challenges I faced becoming a fashion designer. I think first of all should be financing, because nobody will give you money to start a business. You understand? I know it's confusing, but nobody gave me money to start a business. How I started fashion designing while I was in the university, it was through compliments. People would say, I like what you're wearing, I like what you're wearing. So I started selling my own clothes. And then I started, I'm not advising you to do the same. I'm just giving you an example. So I started selling, when somebody said, I like what you're wearing, I started selling them. And then sometime, then within that period, I discovered that, well, if somebody says, I like what you're wearing, I can meet my tailor to make the same thing, then I can go and sell it to that person. And that was how I started. So with no money from any bank, with no money from any donor or whatsoever, that was how we started. So anytime you see me wear something, you say you like it, I just go back to my tailor, because at that time, I didn't even know how to sew at all. So I just go back to my tailor, I say, can you make this for this person? Then I take it, I sell, and then I get my profit, and then I save it, and then like that. That's how basically we started. Yes.
What was your first achievement?
My first achievement. What was my first achievement? Well, I paid myself. I paid for myself through school, through university. So I think that was one of my achievements. Not really my first achievement, but that's a very beautiful question. I didn't even think about it, but I have some achievement up my sleeve, but I think that one should work. My parents were alive. My mom specifically was alive, but I didn't want her to go through that burden of thinking that she has to pay school for me. And I actually told her not to, because I wanted to step out of that zone to be able to take care of my mom at that age. All right? So I did jobs that I could lay my hands on, good jobs that I could lay my hands on, and then I paid my way through school. And of course, at that point, I was able to support my mom as well. So I think that was one of the achievements. Yes.
So, how do you feel the time when
Excited. Very, very. If you see, how will you feel? If the president comes in now and says he wants to see you, how will you feel? Exactly. So, yes, you feel important, and that's why when you grow up, when you grow up after school and you set up a business, just know that some certain people who have what it takes to make your business good will definitely come to you. Do you understand? So, but while you're doing this, I know that David will create a program for you where you can learn some skills as well. You have to learn something, learn a skill that in the future it will be very beneficial to you, okay? And the society, very good. Any other question? No question. Do you have a question? You? No, he has one. He's thinking of what to say. Stand up. You can ask.
I was just curious about the jobs
So you want me to list them out? Well, the first job I did, I was a waiter in a restaurant. You know who is a waiter, right?
Yes,
The first job I did, I was a waiter in a restaurant, and I worked in that restaurant till I got to the position of personal assistant. So I worked in that restaurant for 11 years. And then after that, I left, and then I established the fashion house. So basically, I did two jobs. So while I was a waiter, I was in school, I did my diploma there, I paid through 7 people on the table. And then after that, I finished, and then when I started fashion designing, I paid my way through university back again. And then 2 jobs basically. Then I have the third one now while I'm working for the state government. Yes.
when you were a waiter, did you still think about your fashion design?
Yes. While I was waiting, because I like good clothes, so I was thinking about it, but at that time I was not ready. So that's another aspect too. When you're not ready, you're not ready. But when you're ready, you'll be ready. So it took me 11 years to break out from that company to set up my own. So whenever you're ready, that is when you're ready. But when you're not ready, you're not ready. But when you're ready, you would know that you're ready. I hope that's clear. Yes. Yes.
Were you discouraged at some point?
Of course, I was discouraged. First, I was discouraged by the environment where I live. A lot of people wanted me to go to the big city. And then when I look at where people who are doing the same craft as me in the big city are doing, they're doing far better. But at some point, I discovered that if we all live where we are, and then there will be nothing here. Okay, so it's not about making the money. Sometimes it's about making the impact as well. Do you understand? And so I didn't take that as a discouragement. I only use it as a stepping stone to make sure that I'm able to do what I want to do in my city, and then try and reach out to anybody outside Macaulay. So as I speak to you now, we have people who come all the way from Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and want to wear what we are making here in Benue. All right? So your environment will not even determine your success. What will determine your success is your ability to push that business to the next level. All right? Thank you. Yes. What? What I have in contact? I'm working for the state government. You want to know what kind of job? Okay, no. It wasn't the sewing. Who else? Somebody else was raising his hand up there. That's what you wanted to ask. But is the answer clear? Okay.
Are you sure? Like, I didn't understand that question.
Maybe I didn't understand the question.
Yes.
But
What were you asking? Ask that question.
Answer that question well, so that I can say.
I mean, what are you doing like this that you are working for the state government or you guys are partners?
Is the question how I got in contact with the state government or what I'm doing for them?
Apart from the fashion design, what are you doing with them?
Okay, so I work with an office called the National Brand Development Project Office. So the National Brand Development Project Office is where we do everything made in Benue. So if you are making shoes, bags, slippers, earrings, everything, that office is supposed to package that things that you're making so that we can send it abroad so that your things can be selling outside Nigeria. Do you understand? So that is what I do for government. Yes.
I said that before you started doing that, you wanted to speak.
Yes.
Was I representing them with what I do?
I'm doing what?
I am representing Benue State.
Yes.
So my question is that, just what do you do when you are discouraged?
What I do when I'm discouraged? Well, the first thing I do is to pray. I pray about it and I'm never disappointed. That's one thing I've learned how to be. I'm never disappointed with people's behavior, people's attitude, the nonchalantness and all that. I'm never disappointed. And one thing I've trained myself over time is to do most of my work myself. Because nobody does it better than yourself. And even where I work, I'm never absent. So the more I make myself available, the better for what we have to do. Even if I'm dealing with a group of people, it will make it easier and to be seamlessly. Okay? So basically that is it. Are we done? Yes. Sorry? Yes, I made what I'm prepared. How many of you want to be? How many of you want to be a fashion designer here?
Raise your hand up. Very simple.
The house is quiet.
No.
So you don't want to be a fashion designer?
This one.
Oh, which one? Fair one.
Yeah.
Okay. You too. Yeah, but I thought you said you want to be an engineer. You see interest in it.
You started already.
Well, it's a fantastic trade. So if you want to, why not? I've met so many governors just because I'm a tailor. You understand? I've met so many governors, I've met former presidents just because I'm sewing clothes. It's nothing different from that. It has opened doors. I'm not saying that whatever you want to do will not open doors for you. Of course it will. But remember, I said that you have to be very consistent in what you want to do and you have to be passionate about it. Okay? You have to be very passionate about it. In that way, it's going to speak loud and there's going to be some sort of volume around what you do. And the attention of whoever wants to know will be gotten. Okay? Thank you. Yes.
Have you sold any clothes for a government?
Yes, I have. 3 different governors. Yes.
How about year one?
Yes.
Can you mention them?
Can I mention
The governors.
how many governors do you know from Benue?
Two.
Eh?
3.
Who knows? Eh?
Governors. 2.
Yes.